Hey, can you hear my dryer? It's my washing machine. I'll go shut that door. There, that's a lot better. So, earlier I made a video talking about, the obvious snowstorm we have across the nation in the northern hemisphere of the earth. And, some places are still getting hit. You got millions of people without power, and I talked about, how sad it is when we don't make some sort of preparation just because we don't think it's practical, like Texans, where they don't get sub-zero temperatures for a week on end with a bunch of snow. Some of them people have never even seen snow in real life. So it's okay to think outside the box, So I'll find a new word. I will make more elaborate what I think. Reiterate, that was the word. If you lose power, you may lose heat. If you have a gas range, you can use that to help generate heat, especially the oven. Now, if you have an electric igniter system, you may not use the oven, but you can still light the range top. Don't just run the range. Put a pot of water on it so that water can be heated to a boil, and that warm, moist air can go up and circulate. You can cordon off your house with plastic, shut doors, hang blankets. If you need to stay warm, like you're really cold, you can close yourself off in one room. I recommend, if you get to that position, that you do either leave your water running so that you can continue to have water flow, or do something to drain your system so it doesn't freeze and burst, because you don't need busted pipes while you're freezing. But a lot of times when it's really cold like this, it's good to let your faucets run, especially if you don't have great seals for air. A tent. If you have a tent, you can set up a tent. Kind of fun if you got kids. That'll help trap a lot of the air, especially if you throw a blanket over top of your tent to help trap even more. And then you can create like a micro environment, and there are things like stacking blankets, space blankets, lots of things we can do. Open your windows during the day, close them up at night. It's important to have these things in mind, especially right now, because in Michigan we still have power, but like my internet's been a little slow, to say the least. And I know a lot of people here and there have had some flickering going on with their power, so we shouldn't just assume that we won't lose power, and we should be taking any chance we get, like yesterday and today. Especially today, traffic is able to move in my area, so people should be going out and securing their bottled water and their food provisions, propane tanks filled, whatever it is they need to do that they weren't ready with before. So I hope the same for you guys, that you'll go and think, what can you do? What can you do? It's much better to spend a little money right now on some things than when you can't get them. Hell, look at Texas right now. They've got ranches that are unable to get their feed. We got oil refineries that have closed up from the temperatures. Electrical generation is on a rolling blackout. The energy cost of a megawatt hour in Texas has went from $25 for a megawatt hour to $900 for a megawatt hour. All right, now that's substantial. In comparison, think about what it costs to charge a car. One guy made the reference, What might cost you $18 is going to cost you around $1,000. So, I mean, here we sit cozy while these people look at that, and we shouldn't think that that isn't going to come here. So, it may be a good time to start leaving the lights off more. Maybe drop your thermostat down a little bit and throw on some warm clothes, because being practical here, I imagine that if they're having such an issue with their energy cost, we may see the same. Because just because your region has power and isn't suffering blackouts doesn't mean it's not tied to an area that is. And, well, the people that run the shit, they're going to be the ones that pay for it. That'll be you and me. And we could pay for it with our inability to pay. How many of those people are not going to be able to afford those energy bills and will no longer have power? We'll see. We'll see. So, while the federal government worries about backtracking on every damn thing that's been done the last 4 years and focuses on bringing in more immigrants across our border, our own countrymen are suffering, and I am not hearing much about the help that's going to be put out there for them. So, yeah. That's why I say fuck your administration. And I'm thankful I've pulled away from all that shit, and I'm not going to be subject to that bull. I understand the cost and consequences of that. Someday they may not like that and want to jail me. Someday they may not like that and I won't be able to participate in stuff. That's fine. Because if I ain't got their power, their electricity, their gas, their food systems, I'm working on my own. I'm working on my own ways of doing things. So when theirs fails, which it does and is and will some more, I gotta minimize the suffering of me and my family and those I love most. So, yep, we shouldn't take it for granted. So, like I said, right back on it. Preparedness. If you have an opportunity right now where you can safely get some things, go get them. If you do your grocery shopping on Fridays, well, do it on Wednesday this week. We got more coming into my area. And this is just one storm, okay? So we shouldn't be sitting here assuming that there won't be another storm. And maybe even another storm. And then the damage that'll be done by the melt, and the damage that could be done by how long this shit sits around for people's crops, because we're coming up on planting time. So it's another thing we could be thinking about right now too. Have we got seeds? Have we got plans for what comes next? Have we got our plans in place for our gardens? Have we got our plans in place for our fertilizers, for our composts, for everything that we think we're going to need? Think ahead. Are you going to do some canning this year? Look for the stuff now. I have called this the year of the groundhog, or 2020 continued. I see a lot of things repeating, and I see some new things. So if you want to think about just a year ago, what you have faced, get ahead of it. It's the best advice I can give you is think outside the box. Try to stay on a practical level, but still think outside the box. Don't just think what is right in front of you, but what could be, and what can you do about it. We are always limited, but most of the time we're limited by our lack of effort. So I guess that's about it. 10 minutes. Let's stop it now. Wish you well. I hope you guys are hearing me and, pushing, push forward. Yeah, be ready. Bye bye.